All right. Congressman Brad Wenstrup joins us now, state of Ohio. As I said before the break, the congressman who's a doctor, he helped to save Steve Scalise in 2017, also was a combat surgeon in Iraq. Welcome to the show, Congressman. We actually started by this hour announcing there's this new bipartisan task force that's just been announced to look into the Trump assassination attempt. Jason Crow's part of that, ranking member, is just out. This is a look at the task force itself and who's on it from both parties, Republicans in red, Dems in blue at the bottom. Crow is out with a social media post that has a statement on it, so if we can put that up, we'll look at that. And there's another, this is from Crow: political violence, no place in our democracy, period. Must be united in the belief as Americans, not as Republicans or Democrats. Political disagreement is settled through rigorous discourse, not violence. And also, the Congresswoman Laura Lee has a statement out. There's a little bit more from Crow, who talks about, lending his lead in the bipartisan group that's looking into it. This is Laura Lee and what she had to say. So both parties are looking into it. You saw the names. What would you say about that task force and what they might come up with?
Well, I think it's a good task force, and both sides of the aisle came together very quickly to say we need to do something like this. And as I look at the names and know most of their backgrounds, these are serious players in Congress, people that have non-political backgrounds as well, to where they can, I think, take a look at this without a political bias and look into what actually took place and why we can do better going forward. I've tried to do the same thing with the pandemic subcommittee that I chair.
Okay.
So this is a great opportunity for us to come together and do something together. And I've actually dropped a resolution with Democrat Raj Krishnamurthy, condemning political violence with quotes from both President Biden and President Trump, and let the American people know that this is something that's to be rejected from both sides of the aisle.
Now, we're 2 weeks out. We're looking again at the drone video that we shot for our special report out in Butler, PA. It's still amazing, isn't it, Congressman, that this actually happened? As I said, you have the perspective of having gone through the baseball practice shooting, and I know you helped out, as I said, Congressman Scalise there as a doctor. Is there any perspective that you bring to this? What have you been thinking about the last 2 weeks, maybe from that day or what you learned afterwards that might apply now? Anything?
Well, I'm just clearly surprised with some of the facts that are coming in or reported to come in, as you mentioned before, that they had this guy as suspicious. They had him under sight and then just seemed to have lost him. There was not good communication. There was supposed to be local SWAT team communication, supposedly with the Secret Service. Just so many balls dropped. When we got shot at the baseball field, that was something that was unexpected. It's 7 in the morning. We've been doing this for years, and no one expected something like that. And thank God Steve Scalise was there, so the Capitol Police were there to fend off the shooter. And but in this case, this is nothing new. When a president or former president is especially doing a political rally, all things need to be covered. And the fact that you saw people trying to tell and alert police that there was somebody on a roof within a distance that's very easy to reach, in this case, the former president, it's really kind of unbelievable that this would be allowed to happen. That you don't take the time to stand in front of the spot where the president's going to be and see all the possible actions that could take place,
right,
and do that ahead of time. It's really unbelievable.
But now we know from these texts and things that first we thought it was maybe an hour that someone saw the guy looked suspicious, texted somebody about it. It was 90 minutes now, it turns out. 90 minutes. I mean, I'm not even sure what to ask you other than to say it's really and truly unbelievable that 90 minutes could have gone by when this guy's recognized and nobody did anything to stop what happened from happening.
And standard operating procedure, if you think you see somebody suspicious who looks out of place and he was moving around by himself, then you do not let the president go to the podium. You keep them under wraps until you know you have the area secure. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned, and I think as members of Congress, et cetera, we all have something to learn by this. And I think it's important too, and I want to point this out. I think it's important that it's not an investigation from within. There needs to be an investigation by Congress that oversees the agencies that are involved here. here, because too often when agencies just investigate themselves,
Right.
nothing really changes. And we've got to do this and make some changes, possibly with legislation.
Truly independent investigation. Trump posted on Truth Social that he's going back there, right? He's going to Butler again. And I know for now, as I said, his Harrisburg rally, for example, is indoors. They've been saying, stay indoors. But he says, I'm going to go back to Butler, get a big and beautiful rally that honors Corey Competeur, who's the firefighter who died, as well as the 2 other people who were shot. What would you say about that, and whether that's a good idea to go back, not to Pennsylvania for an indoor rally, that's one thing, but to go back to Butler?
Well, I think that that's the typical American spirit way, that we don't let evildoers keep us down. We may need to withdraw for a second and adjust fire, and if you will, and get our ducks in a row. But we're going to stand up to evil and go out there and say, you are not going to stop this political process.
All right, Congressman, good to see you. And again, you were heroic in your actions in 2017. I know you're a doctor, but somebody had to go and help, and you did. And there were some heroes in Butler too that helped some other people in the stands, and you always see that. Thanks for coming on today. We'll keep on top of the investigation. Good to see you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Congressman Wenstrup there from